That's So Good podcast.
Because I feel like so many people want to get all the amazing jobs and amazing positions, but like no one knows how the people actually got there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really feel like God put this on my heart like such a long time ago to do this. And I don't know, I just feel like I wanted to start it.
The show that makes big conversations feel fun, fresh, and impossible to pause.
That's So Good podcast.
One, I'm so happy you're back for another episode. So a little fun fact about this episode, I actually recorded it 2 years ago with my friend Sabina. But, you know, my old podcast, long story short, I just never put it to the light of day. But now my new podcast, I felt that it was perfect to put it out there because the story is so inspirational and motivational. She's a former beauty pageant queen, you know, turned business owner. She was also a runway model. And like, it's just so good hearing her story of the hustle, the grind, the passion, the persistency. And like, she's just honestly one of the sweetest people on earth with like the best laugh. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear this. However, I am a totally, completely different person than from what I was 2 years ago. So I'm not gonna lie, like listening back to this episode, I was like, oh my gosh, who is she? Who is that Nikki? So I did take some stuff out because honestly, it was just a very old me. And now like my walk with Christ, like I just felt I didn't want to put those things out there anymore. So I just like, you might feel a little bit of a cut, but it's nothing major. And yeah, you know, like we're just gonna keep moving and walking forward. And I'm just really excited for you guys to listen to this episode. So enjoy.
Welcome back. I'm so happy you guys tuned in for another week's episode. So today I have a special friend of mine. We actually just reconnected recently. I hadn't seen her in I want to say over a year. You know, busy Miami life. She's also in the similar grind I'm in. She is former beauty queen / model / makeup artist / hairstylist / model / content creator / now talent agency co-owner. Here is Sabina.
Hi, everyone. I know that was a lot, but I couldn't make up my mind of what I actually do, so I just do it all.
Super Miami. Like, we all just don't have one job. We all like hustle. And honestly, that's why I even asked you. I was like, what do you like want me to like label you as? Because like I know you do so much, and I'm willing to. I want to say all the like hats you wear. You know what I mean? Without a doubt.
And you know, like rent is expensive, so
So we all have a side hustle. The side hustle has a side hustle, and dot. No, but really, I'm super happy you're here. And like, so if you guys don't know, she's actually, I guess you could say, former dancer too. You don't dance anymore, really?
Here and there.
So whenever someone needs a pretty redhead. Anyways, so Sabina and I used to dance at the same entertainment company. And she was one of the newer girls, and it was at a gig. It was like, no, actually, it was pretty early-ish into, you know, it was a good like halfway, but still early-ish point of like my dance career with that company. And she came in and she just came in with this like great energy. We like hit it off super well, super quickly. Yeah. She was so easy to work with because not sorry. Some of these girls are super hard to work with. And just not willing to like listen to the lead dancer. She was just super easy, like willing to like accept it all. So I'm super appreciative. We even did like a show together and everything. So loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm just really excited you're here.
Yeah, well, I definitely remember that. It was a new company that I was working for at the time. I was still in my very beginner phase of, you know, dance,
go world life.
And she definitely taught me a lot that I'm very grateful for. That definitely stuck with me. And I was for me also on my side, it was just nice for someone to be willing to teach me. Because just as like people aren't willing to learn, a lot of people aren't willing to teach either. So I was just really grateful for that.
Oh, with my pleasure. Trust me. And I always tell people, I'm like, here, I feel like people like either are willing to help you or just willing to be like, no, fuck off, your problem, not my problem. And I'm like, we've all started somewhere. Like at that time, I was still like getting my groove and going and stuff. So like I was really willing to help like you, a new dancer, because I was just there like 6 months prior. So if I didn't have that person who helped me out, like I was, you know, like how are we gonna keep it going? Yeah. And also like it helped me grow because I set the example. So I think that was great. But let's just say we worked a decent amount together. I learned a lot about her. And one of the things that I really liked about you is that you're a former beauty queen. So I just kind of want you to get, into the groove of that. Like, what were your experiences with it? What titles you hold? ...
Yeah, so there's a lot with that. So, you walk into one door and it leads to many others. So there was my title of Miss International World Germany, right?
It's crazy.
So I was born in Germany, so that's where the title really comes from. But even with that, my beauty queen days were short. And with that, I moved into actually being behind the scenes of doing hair and makeup for other contestants competing in, like, let's say Miss Earth or Miss United States and all of that stuff. All of that was great, but once I was able to see the actual other side of it, I realized how mentally draining it was, and I didn't even want to go back and compete again because I realized I was just seeking someone else's validation, right? Like that's what everyone there was doing. Like they were dishing out so much money out of their pockets for this title that these people would give you, and I didn't feel authentic in doing it because it's not something that I believed in anymore. In my perspective, I could see how much it was actually ruining these girls, right? So their whole life depended on this. There was one that competed 4 years in a row for this one title and it still wasn't getting it. And like nothing else in her life meant nothing. Like nothing else in her life meant nothing except getting that title. Like that was her life.
That's crazy.
That's sad. That's sad. That's not just like, and then some pageant systems are, for example, if you don't win the top prize, you're like that second or third, you still have to take a picture with the crown that you didn't get, which is the first place. Like that's just, you're mentally killing these people. And once I was able to see it for what it really was, it's in a sense like a little bit malicious. You're preying on these girls' insecurities while preaching woman empowerment. Like nothing makes sense. It's a business. Like that's all it is. You do not need a physical crown to be a queen. Like that's all it is.
No, I love that you said that. And so to rewind a little bit, when did you start your beauty queen, I guess, career? Your beauty queen era, let's call it.
Era. So, those little pageants that happened at the mall. That's kind of where it started is.
How old were you?
Probably like 14, 15.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was doing. Foreign mom, she doesn't know what's going on. She puts you in a dress, you go walk the runway. I got prettiest eyes, but obviously I didn't have the qualifications at that time to go any further with that. Of course. So and my mom is actually, ironically, a former pageant queen herself.
No way!
Back in what is now former Yugoslavia. So that's kind of where that, stepping into your parents' shoes came in and living up to their identities instead of your own. I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for what I went through to be able to see like the other side of it, not just what is shown, but really for what it is.
No, that's true because, I mean, everyone has a different perspective of pageant queens, beauty queens. There's reality shows now. There's things more coming to light and whatnot. But it's so interesting. I love that I've been able to now sit down with you and really like see how you feel, what your experience was. Because everyone watches like, what is it, Miss Universe? That's like what everyone watches, right? And you see these girls, they just look so great and stuff, and then you're just like, but there's a lot that goes into it, and people don't see that. Like, first of all, the fact that you're just sitting there smiling so much for like 2 hours, like it's exhausting. And we've all been in that situation doing a gig where you just have to smile the whole time and you're like, it's been 10 minutes. I hurt. Like, I can't imagine like a whole pageant. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It really is crazy.
There's a really dark side to it, you know? And once I realized that, so my partner actually, if it wasn't for him, honestly, I would have never realized the pageant world for what it is.
Okay.
Right? He actually opened my eyes, you know, from a man's perspective. You know, your typical guy would be like, oh my God, a pageant queen, worships the ground that they walk on, right? But he was like, from a psychological standpoint, from like a mental state, this is not okay. Mm-hmm. And I thought about it for a second because I was even considering at that point to go back, and I didn't win a title the year that I competed. And something in me, like, I wanted to go back the next year and compete and this and this, right? And he really sat me down. He's like, why? Why do you want this? And honestly, I couldn't think of another reason, but except for the fact that I wanted to prove my worth to these random group, like this random group of individuals that compiled the judges or whoever they were.
Just have a crown. Yeah.
And just have a crown. And then I realized, like, what am I doing? Like, there's more to my life. And once I realized that, honestly, a lot more things took off for me, and not being in that like confined mindset of I need to do this to prove my worth. No, you need to know your value regardless of whatever you're doing.
No, for sure. And then I definitely want to talk about the mental health part, because I think it's so important, especially now in today's age. But when did you stop your era, I guess, of being a beauty queen?
So I believe I competed 2 years ago.
Oh, that recent.
Yeah.
Wow. And you are how old are you now?
Listen, I never know how old I am.
I know you're younger than me. You're 27.
I literally have to do a calculator every time that I...
Okay, what year were you born in, Sabina?
96.
Okay, so you're 2 years younger than me. So you're 26, so then... Yeah, 24.
Yeah.
So what was that 14 thing? So you're like for 10 years. Yeah. That's a big, first of all, that's like a huge for the woman. Those are like insanely growth years, like insanely important growth years.
Yeah.
And then two, that's also a pretty long time to dedicate. Yeah. Because I mean, you did win a pretty good title, international world Germany, and that's great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I can understand because I competed in dance and cheerleading. So I understand when you're like, I just want to win the next prize and the next prize and just win. If you don't win, you feel like you're not good enough. But the fact that like you got that title is great. And also like competing, that's a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Because it's so nerve-wracking. You have to be so poised, so just proper. And then it's not just beauty, it's also like how you answer things. It's just, so I mean, I still give you props for doing that because, and respect. Yeah. Because you probably grew from it in a way. There's certain positives. Don't get me wrong. We're not just going to be here hating, guys. Yeah. That's not my podcast, you know? But I do think that it definitely is hard. Like you said, like, so in the part of
them back more money, who can represent them the best.
Interesting. I mean, fair. I can see on a business standpoint why they would do that. But would you ever feel comfortable judging a pageant?
No.
I'm past that.
I couldn't. Because in the end, I would also feel like my voice wouldn't matter either. Right? Like, I don't have a business, I don't have a hidden agenda as to like why this person should win and why that other one should. And I just, after everything that I've seen and what I believe in now, it doesn't align with who I am now.
Okay. That's true. And then I think that's great though. I think you're like, I've been there, done that. This is it. This is my truth.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy you shared that little portion with us.
Yeah.
And as far as, so then when you decided like, okay, I'm not doing beauty pageants. I mean, you were already doing like beauty stuff, correct? And like dance. So I didn't know you were still doing beauty pageants when we met dance stuff. Yeah. So I think we met in 2021. I would say it was about exactly like 2 years ago at this point. Now that I'm thinking about it, like a little over. Yeah. And I didn't know you were still doing it. I thought like you were retired.
Also talk about the pageant that you did like. So you said with that one pageant company, you were just not a fan, but you have certain feelings.
Yeah.
So what other is there like a positive, like another company you worked with or another title you held that you really enjoyed being part of?
Yeah. So actually, in spite of all of this, there was another one called Miss Worldwide International, and my title was Miss Worldwide International Germany.
Cute.
This one, it honestly holds a special place in my heart because it was one of the very rare times I've actually seen women that are in certain positions, like with a crown, with a title, doing good and giving back to the community. We worked a lot with an organization called the Champions. So it's kids with like Down syndrome, autism, all this stuff, right? And we would show up, right, all dressed up, our crowns, and they would just light up, and they just had the best time. And it was nice to see like how you can positively impact someone's life with what you do. And in the pageant world, like that was the only time that I saw that, right? For the most part, like actually giving back to the community in a sense. And this was run by Kirsten Regalato. So she's a gown designer. She honestly amazing human being. I am very grateful for her. And this is actually an organization that I was with first before going to the other one. So
no, I think that's great. I think that there is, like I said, guys, we're not here to bash.
Yeah.
Like, there is a positive side to like the beauty pageant industry. And I think like that is what I think is beautiful, like giving back to your community, you know, just making people happy.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes with these kids or like whoever or whatever organization you get to, like sometimes like a new face and just being happy can just totally light up your day.
Yeah.
I think that was great that you did that for these kids. And, you know, you actually had a super positive impact on them and on yourself. It made you feel good, not just, okay, I'm here being pretty with a crown.
Yeah. It's like you go where you're valued, right? So there's that whole thing going on Instagram that's like the grandfather gave his grandchild, whatever, a car that was actually an antique, and he's like, okay, go take it to the used car place, and they only gave her less than $1,000, and she took it to the pawn shop or the parts place, and they were going to tear it apart and sell it for parts. They gave her 500, right? But then she goes to like an antique collector club, and these people are willing to buy it off of her for 100,000, right?
What?
So it's honestly a lesson of like, go where you are valued, and that's where you will thrive. That's it.
I love that.
Like, honestly, that's the biggest thing that I learned from all of that, because kind of the awakening, I guess, was when I was in my mind going back and forth. Should I compete again? Should I not? Should I, I want to feel valued. I want to live up to whatever in my head. And they were like, well, if you're not going to come and compete, it was not even them asking me to come and do it again. It was more so like, well, if you're not going to, you want to just like do hair and makeup, and we'll just cover the trip for you. And at that point I was like, okay, so I'm not really wanted here. Why am I trying so hard to be wanted? And that was it for me. Like, and honestly, the best decision that I ever made that led me to where I am today.
No, and I think that's great. I think things it's a blessing, things not working out. Yeah. I say that a lot. And you gave 10 years of your life to this. Like, you did a lot, you gave a lot, you also impacted a lot. But then you're just like, this is not being worth my value, or this is just not being valuable enough to me. Like, move on.
Yeah.
And now led you to creating your own agency, just killing it in content creation, doing your modeling stuff. Like, you're doing a lot, you're doing dance stuff too. So your resume has grown, and sometimes it is hard, like giving up something you're super comfortable with, but at the end of the day, like, you got to do it.
Yeah, it is what it is, but I wouldn't be here without it. I'm happy that I went through it.
Oh, I mean, for sure. And what about like the mental health? Because sorry guys, we had technical difficulties. We had to start over a little portion, but don't worry, the other stuff is still there. What we were getting into the mental health part, like mental health wise, like, did it affect women a lot, or how was it behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes, like, you could just, it was, how would I say, the best way that I can put it is it was for the clout, right? So it was like, I'm going to go help this organization only because in the long run, it's going to look good on me and my title and my whatever. Right. And that's just like, that's not authentic. That's not you actually genuinely caring about this organization or the work that you're doing, but more so for like a validation reason, you know? So
for sure.
it's just, you see the ugly side, and then just having to like take a picture with a crown that you don't like, that you didn't get. It's just like mentally like, this is what you could have, but you don't have it, you know?
Yeah.
It's brutal. Like, and the thing that I've seen is honestly, you know, realistically speaking, if I'm going to be judged by a panel, that panel needs to be people, like a compromise to people that are actually in the pageant world, that know what your walk should look like, what you need to be saying on stage, and not just people that are from a high-end company that are now part of the panel that have no idea what you're doing.
No, agree.
Like,
wait, so most of the judges weren't like, it wasn't beauty queen people or pageant people. It was just like random people.
you never know who your judges will be.
Oh God. So then what would they rate you guys on? Like, tell us how a winner becomes a winner and how you wouldn't win. Or was it based on looks, its criteria, what?
Beats me, honestly. Like, sometimes I sit there and I'm like, I don't know how they.
No way.
There, you know, there's always like, you know, I'm going to address the elephant in the room, is the fact that there's a lot of speculation that it's rigged, right? So,
okay.
I've never been on that other side. I've never been in those rooms. I don't know exactly what happens, but there's so much speculation about that. You know, nowadays I wouldn't doubt it. You know?
I wonder why it's rigged though. I mean, I don't even like, oh, you want this girl instead of this other girl? It's just crazy to me.
I see their point though. I see, like, sitting down and actually from an unbiased view, seeing it for what it is. It's who can value them the most, okay, from a business standpoint, right? A business standpoint. Who can bring them back more money? Who can represent them the best?
Interesting. I mean, you know, fair. I can see on a business standpoint why they would do that. But would you ever feel comfortable judging a pageant?
No,
No.
I'm past that. I couldn't, because in the end, I would also feel like my voice wouldn't matter either. Right? Like, I don't have a business, I don't have a hidden agenda as to like why this person should win and why that other one should. And I just, after everything that I've seen and what I believe in now, it doesn't align with who I am now.
Okay. That's true. And then I think that's great though. I think you're like, I've been there, done that. This is it. This is my truth.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you shared that little portion with us.
Yeah.
And as far as, so then when you decided like, okay, I'm not doing beauty pageants. I mean, you were already doing like beauty stuff, correct? And like dance. So I didn't know you were still doing beauty pageants when we met dance.
Yeah.
I think we met in 2021. I would say it was about exactly like 2 years ago at this point. Now that I'm thinking about it, like a little over.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you were still doing it. I thought like you were retired or some reason. I remember you mentioned it, but I didn't know it was current.
Yeah.
So then what did you decide to focus on post beauty pageants more?
So at that point, I mean, quite honestly, I was lost. You know, you devote so much time and energy and thought into a specific goal and you lose sight of who you are, right? So then it's like, who am I? Who am I without this title? Who am I without what I thought I believed in that I now like has been demolished because of what seeing it for what it really is. And then I had that mindset of, now I'm going to only do what makes me happy.
That's beautiful.
So I danced, I did makeup, I did hair, I did like everything, right? I did gigs. And I was like, I'm just going to do what makes me happy. And I feel like just doing that will lead me to what I'm really supposed to be doing. I knew I was different. I knew I was not meant to be like just a hairstylist, just a makeup artist, or just a dancer, right? It was never like that for me.
No, and I totally agree. Like, I feel like we did talk about that. Everyone has a side hustle here, but I feel like it's true with you. Like, but also that all kind of is under the same umbrella. You know what I mean? So, and you're so creative.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. So it's super exciting to see like how far you've grown. So I remember for a while you're working in a beauty salon, and then you're like, okay, now no more. So I'm assuming you're focusing a lot on that. And I know that was like crazy hours, you know, like focusing 100% on just like being like a hairstylist. Like it's a lot of hours.
Well, here's the thing is not everyone is going to be super accepting of whatever path you have now envisioned for yourself, because only you can see it, right? And it's not your job to convince Bob, Billy, whatever, to believe in your dream and to believe in what you're doing is going to have this certain outcome. That's not how it works, right? So I realized that doing what I wanted to do meant I couldn't be in a salon 9 to 5 every day of my life, right?
No way.
It just, I felt confined. And when I felt confined, I felt like first of all, I was blaming the place, right? I was like, oh my God, this job doesn't allow me to do this and that and da da da. But really, it was just me. Like, I was the one who was confining myself. And until I did something about it, like, that's just how things were going to be. I reached my breaking point when, like, I had to fight. Like, for example, like, prime example, Saturdays, of course, prime business days for salons, and I had to be there from opening until close by myself, right?
Wait.
So that's all great. I'm grateful for everything, but it was for Ultra, right?
Ooh.
I got asked like the day before. This was Friday. I got asked to open for DJ Mike Chris
For modeling?
Yeah, for like technically dancing on the stage, like with the wings and everything like that. And I was like, there is no way that I'm going to say no to this.
No way.
Right? I was like, at that point, I was like, either fire me or like I'm doing this. Like, there's just no, like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, like in my head, that this is going to happen. So I did it. Everything worked out. And I just felt so, in that moment, I just felt so free. Like, wow, like this is what I'm capable of. This is what I'm capable of doing, right? So that's like, who can say, oh my God, I danced at Ultra? Not very many, right?
Oh no, oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
how do they ask you?
Did
they know you?
It was actually a company that I, like, one of the go-go companies that I work for.
Okay, got it.
But like, she reached out to me, and this was like an unconfirmed thing throughout the week, but I was like, until you confirm, like, I can't like take that day off, because obviously, like, I need to pay my rent, like, I need stability at the same time, right?
For sure.
But once it was confirmed, I was like, I'm all in.
You're like, hi.
I'm doing this, it worked out, right? But things like that kept happening to me, which made me stop and like choose what was more important to me. And the reality of it is, like, I reached my breaking point. I was like, I'm not going to argue about the days that I need off. That, like, I get it. Like, I'm the only other person that works there, but I can't, like, this isn't, no offense, like, this isn't mine. You know what I mean? Like, my dreams are so much further. And of course, like even for my own boss to be like, you need to focus on one thing, and your life is never going to get anywhere if you just focus on like 15,000 other things. I'm like, that kind of did it for me. Like, just because you need me to run this place that isn't mine, I like, and it's a mental thing. It's a mental struggle, right? Because when I came here to Miami, I had no job. Like, I had nothing. I had no plan. Like, I moved my life into my car and I came down here.
From Jacksonville,
right? So no plan, no nothing. I needed some form of stability. In reality, there is no such thing as stability, but that's a different thing. And I got hired, all this stuff, right? And that's where I'd been working since I came to Miami, because it paid my bills, it put the roof over my head. But then it just reached a certain point to, like, it was like harboring resentment in a way, because it was like, don't you remember everything that, like, I did for you, that, this job is what put the roof over your head and this and that. I'm like, yes, I greatly appreciate that. Like, me putting in all the hours and working here and everything, like doing my best every day. That's my appreciation for it. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to be here all my life. Like, I need to grow. And if I'm here, I can't grow.
And that's also like not fair to you, because one, that's very old school mentality, saying like, just focus on one thing. Obviously, I get it. Don't focus on a billion things. Like, I do agree with that, but you can like do a few things, you know, like you're okay. But also, I hate that, like, oh, you're here because of me mentality, and you can't leave because I brought you here. And I've been in that situation before, and it's like, it's not okay, because clearly, like, yeah, you helped me, but like, you're the reason why you grow.
Yeah.
Not because of just that person.
Yeah, it's hard, again, when you see it in a different perspective, when you're forced to, honestly, not just because you want to, because you're forced to. It's like, I was getting more and more miserable by the day. I'm like, I'm just waiting for like the time to pass to just, I couldn't do it anymore. Like, I was going to go crazy.
And were you at least busy in that salon where you were just like, oh, it's willing for me to stay, like, money-wise at some for like certain period?
I tried to tell myself that, but at a certain point, like, my happiness meant more than the money.
I feel you.
So it just,
I agree with that. And that's great. And I think it's great that you were just like, listen, thank you, but now I'm going to do my own thing. And I respect that. You know, it's hard, but sometimes you just like to flourish, and clearly you flourish.
yeah.
You know, but we're still like in the part where we're learning about like your grind to get where you are now. And so this is crazy. This is all between like 2021, 2022, correct? This is all happening.
So I actually like quit December 31st right now. So I wanted to start the year like
Super fresh.
free. Just
So you're there a while, because when did you move to Miami?
3 years ago.
Wow, welcome. It's been a while. It's been a good run. And then I was like, I know you've been killing it with modeling. So did you start your modeling career at the same time as your pageantry career?
So I was a very shy child, right? Very, very shy. I wasn't like this at all. I was super shy, antisocial. I still am antisocial, but my mom was like, I need to do something about her. Like, she needs to, you know, a closed mouth doesn't get fed, right?
True.
So she was like, I need to do something about this child. Like, she's not going to go anywhere in her life if she doesn't open her mouth. So she put me in modeling classes.
Oh, okay.
So at a local modeling school / agency, right, in a little town. Really, that's not an agency, but whatever. It was a good start, right? So I started doing the classes. Later on, in like years later, I came back and I was actually a teacher at the school.
Oh, wait.
So it was like a full circle moment. And then, you know, then I started branching out and modeling in New York. And then COVID hit. Everything was closed, right? But Miami was like still doing its thing. So I started coming down here instead.
Right.
And, you know, a switch hit and I was like, I'm just moving down there. That's it. Like, I see so much more potential and so many more opportunities than if I just stay in my little hometown and rot, you know,
right.
Like
definitely.
So came here, really had to push myself to get out there. I mean, everything is a risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it all pays off in some shape, way, or form. And I realized to, like, you know how you can cross promote? I kind of, like, I would do a hair gig, but then that hair gig would get me a model gig, or the model gig could get me a hair gig. And
I mean, that's so Miami.
Yeah.
Half the time it's not your talent.
Yeah.
It's your connection to people. Like, oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
And what do you say? What is your main focus in modeling? Is it more like runway? Is it more print?
So I love being on the runway. Like, that is definitely, I love being on the runway. But it kind of started out as everything. So, you know, photo shoots and then runway and then commercial and promo and all of that. But I do remember back in my hometown and even everywhere else, right? Like, there's a lot of rejection in this field. So you're not going to be a right fit for everyone. And my look was always too edgy, too, like, I'm not what you think of when you think of like your standard type A models.
Yeah.
Skinny, like no curves, like, but beautiful, but tall, all that, right? But, you know, got some curvature over here, which is great in Miami, you know, and being too edgy. So I didn't fit in, right? So moving here, and then years later, and then now just recently, now being the co-owner of Valorem Talent, it was kind of like, okay, I don't fit in, right? So now I'm going to create a place where I do belong.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then that's what led you to open your own talent agency.
Well, there were many different steps. Like, nothing is just that easy with me.
Nothing is that easy in life, period. Especially in this industry.
I realized that I had the ability to get girls together, right? That I had the ability to, like, I was already getting called for certain gigs and to bring other girls with me.
Right.
I was being called for companies to bring and hire other girls. And then I met my partner, right? And he had just like the business side down, but I had the roster. I had the access to the girls. I have the background experience of, like, I know that side of the field too. Like, I know what happens on the modeling side. I know dealing with the clients and all that. So we kind of we sat down one day and we're like, you know, you have one part, I have the other part. Why not? You know,
I mean, that's like a match made in heaven. I already told you. I was like, that you're like, so first of all, I'm super happy you found it.
Thank you.
And then second of all, the fact that, like, you could not have met your more perfect person because he's in that field but has the business portion.
Yeah.
And you have the creative portion and the in-field experience. It's like, you know, they say sometimes it's not the best to work with, like, your partner and stuff, but I feel like in the reason like this, like, it just made sense.
Yeah. And honestly, a big portion of what we're doing is also, even if I am on the creative side, I don't feel comfortable discussing pricing or whatever on the business side. So that's something that he handles, right? So he acted as my agent first because I didn't know how to negotiate or do any of the stuff for myself because I was still learning my value. Like, what am I worth? And that doesn't happen overnight. It takes you some time, but once you start seeing it, then you start feeling more confident in that. And I realized that was a more common thing here in Miami too, because right now, I hate to say it, but everybody is so willing to work for free, right?
First of all, thank you for saying that, because I agree. The rates are so, like, disgustingly low sometimes. Yeah. I'm like, what? You're paying me this? For
like
what?
the $90 for the 12 hours, or like
or even just like,
I can't.
Like, I already admit that I do this, but like, I'll never do a video shoot for, like, if it's more than 8 hours and if it's like less than 150. And even then, like, I don't do that. Sometimes I'll just do it because I'm like, okay, I want to get a little more experience.
Yeah.
And I know it's a video shoot where we have a lot of downtime, or like, you know, if it's for the right fit. But I don't do that often because, like, they take advantage of us here.
Yeah.
Because girls are just so willing to do it. And it's just actually really frustrating because they want the best girls, the hottest girls, this, that, and that. And then they want you to bring your own clothes.
Yeah.
They don't even supply makeup half the time. And then, so you're like, I'm just a free body.
Yeah, that's what we noticed.
No way. And, like, I agree with you and I hate it, but, like, if you say no, then someone else is just gonna say yes. But then someone once told me that she's also been in the industry a while. She's like, don't feel bad for saying no. She's like, do your little word gigs, I get it at the beginning, la la la, but, like, don't feel bad for saying no, because these companies need to learn that, like, it's not okay. And I don't know if it's like because we have a lot of foreign people here we're just willing to do it. We're not getting into that topic, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just, like, desperate only to do it, or because they know there's so much beautiful girls here, but it's not okay. Like, my friend is moving to LA to dance now because she told me, she's like, I did a gig for the same artist in LA and got paid like thousands of dollars. I think she told me like $2,000. And then here, same artist, similar type of gig, $600. Like, what? And honestly, sometimes the bigger the artist doesn't mean bigger the pay. Like, the other day I did a video for this one Cuban girl, and I was dancing in it, and it was good. The rate was right. It was like $250, and we only were there for like 3-4 hours, I think, max. And they gave us food, and it was like a lot of downtime. So, like, I would use that downtime studying and stuff. But it was great. It was like started early. We were indoors. It was like a really good set. You know, like, I got lucky that I got booked that day because a girl called out. It was like 8 a.m. They're like, you do? Okay, come at 10.
Yeah.
You know, I learned the dance, and by like 11:30 we were shooting, and we were done by like 3. You know, like, I still think the rate should always be higher, but I think that was
a more fair rate than like $100 for X amount of hours. And if you think about it, like a lot of these rates haven't even gone up in years. So for what some girls have told me, and I'm like, what? Yeah. It's just, I don't get it. It's like, that's the one thing in Miami that like is so frustrating.
It is. And the thing is, like, I catch myself sometimes too, you know, like we all go through like a hard spot. Like, oh, you know, the money would be good right now. Like, let me just, I would consider doing it, or like, I'm just going to do it. But then you can't really look at it from like the short term perspective. You have to see it for like the long term. Then like these people will see you as, oh, she's willing to work for that, right? Yeah, you can say no later. You know what I mean? But like, you would box yourself in for that rate, right? And then, of course, like you said, if you don't do it, someone else will. And the sooner girls just stop doing this, like working for free and the working for like nothing, basically, things aren't going to change.
And I totally agree with that. But sometimes, like you said, sometimes you're just like desperate for money because you're like, well, at least it's another 120. Oh, but like at least it's another 150. If you don't have a job or whatever, or you're just really trying to break into your industry, you're like desperate, and I get it. But I agree. It's just not okay. You know what I mean? And then I've like been lately, honestly, I've been lucky because I've been saying yes to the right ones. And like, I've gotten on sets where they like give us good food, not just like chips.
Yeah.
You know, like they'll give us real food, like super, like a break, like a proper lunch break or dinner break, whatever the time is. So, you know, some people really are doing it better. But, you know, I'm like in LA to grocery rates like this, to New York to grocery rates like that. Let's be real. Our rent is just as expensive as theirs.
God.
So it's not like before we could be like, Miami's cheaper, I get it. Now I'm like, we're at the same level. We deserve to get paid at the same level.
Yeah. Big time.
So then so tell me the name of your talent agency again so that everyone knows.
Valorem Talent.
How do you spell it?
VALO. Oh my God. Hold on. I am a visual person. Hold on.
I was like, I want you to spell it out just so, because, you know, I know it's a little bit of a different name.
Yes. I'm a visual, not an audio. VALOREM.
Well, so it's Valorem?
Valorem Talent. So, Valorem actually in Latin means value.
Ooh.
So the basic, like what we stand for is promoting value, right?
I love that.
We strive to be different from the pre-existing agencies, you know, so handling pro athletes, influencers, models, you name it, right? That's what we're doing.
So then how do you guys set yourself apart from the other agencies? I mean, I know you said like you want the better rates, and you're like, we want these are, I guess, our people to like know their value.
Yes.
How else could you say that you're setting yourself apart and different?
Definitely being exclusive, right? Like holding certain morals and values across the whole board, not just the staff, but also the people that we represent, and going more towards being a family, not a business, right? Like that we have each other's back, like we'll be there for you, whatever you need, like we're here. That's what Miami in general is missing, is the family aspect. Like that's what we want to be.
No, and I love that. And I think that's so great because it's true. Like sometimes you just feel like a number, like in the herd.
Yeah.
So I think it's better that you like are more picky with who you choose.
Yes.
And like you want to make sure everyone feels loved and wanted. And obviously you just get booked.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse when you're part of like an agency and then you're just not getting booked, or you just get booked every once in a big.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get it. They can't have the same face for certain artists all the time. I get that.
Yeah.
You know, but there's also certain things that I think that's great. And how long ago did you start this company? Co-started.
So realistically, this was already in the works starting last year in July.
Ooh.
But it actually didn't go full force until I quit my day job to be like a full-time entrepreneur.
Girl, you got you gotta start somewhere.
So January 1st, right? First day of the year. That's when things really like started happening. And we started putting in the work to like, okay, I'm here now. What can I do? What can I do next? Like, well, what does the future look like for us? So,
and how's it working with your boyfriend? Because, you know, sometimes working with like your significant other is not the easiest.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you have the creative side and he does the business portion, but like, how is it really?
We're both Scorpios, so it's very, very, very intense.
I can see that.
But I have to say, it's very rare. Like this is not like a normal thing, and this is not something I recommend either. Like, we're the same person, just different genders.
Oh, that's so cute.
Very different bodies, but essentially the same person, same values. Like, we'll want to rip each other's head off at one point, but the next minute, like, all is good in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But I think that's what a partnership is. Like, you can love each other even through the hard times.
Yeah.
Want to rip their head off.
yeah.
And how did you guys meet?
So this is a crazy story.
I actually don't think I know this story.
We met on the street.
Well, you briefly told me. I lied. You briefly told me. Okay, but now I want the detailed version.
Oh my God. Okay, so where I live now, I used to live on a different floor. And from a studio, like I used to live in a studio in this building, and now I'm obviously like in a 1-bedroom now, leveling up slowly. But my old neighbor from when I used to live in the studio was walking one night in front of my building, well, our building, and I was with my mom, and we were coming back home, but him and my now partner were going out for a drink, and we crossed paths, we stopped. And there was automatically just like a feeling, like a pull.
Oh,
right. We were talking, but like you can't help but like look at this person. And the neighbor was right away. He was like, "Oh my God, Sabina, I'm never gonna see you again." That was it.
Oh,
right. He already knew.
Was he living in that same building?
No, not at that time. So that was just, we were talking shortly, and then it was more like on a business thing, like, oh yeah, like I have models, like you have events, like we can work together. Like, neither one of us wanted to like actually say what it was.
Right? Oh, I mean, for sure, because he was already killing it in the marketing.
Yeah, so that was just crazy in itself. We exchanged information, and then he guessed right away that I was a Scorpio. And I'm very hooked on like the spiritual and the horoscopes and all of that stuff. So that got me right away. I was like, how did you even know? But I felt it, right? So it's all good. And the next day, he claims that I texted him, but really I think it was him. But that's too many messages to go
look
through.
back at you.
Yeah, whatever. So we just started talking here and there, and then my family was actually still in town. And with a foreign family, you don't really just introduce the guys that you're talking to right away until
no,
you know.
Oh, yeah, no way.
So I was like, I was kind of, I'm busy, like I'm with my family, like I can't really meet you now, XYZ, whatever. And I'm walking in Brickell one day, and this guy doesn't even text me, call me, nothing. He FaceTimes me, right?
Oh my, you're like, who does that?
What in the world is this? And then I answer, and I'm on like the bridge going over to Brickell.
Yeah.
And he is like, "Oh, cool, I'm in Brickell too. Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm crossing the bridge. I'm with my family." He's like, he was very assertive, and that's not something that I've seen before, right? And he meets me at the bottom of the bridge with my family, and I was like, "Oh my God, what do I do?" Like,
hi, this is my friend. Like, what do you say?
I don't even remember what I said, but I just remember like in the long run, I was really grateful because I was trying to show my family around Brickell, but I wasn't really that like, I didn't know that much about Brickell, so he actually led the way, right? So that worked out. He was like cool tour guide, and then the next day. Yeah, like we got to know each other a little bit. Like me and him were leading the group, and everyone was just behind us. Then the next day we went to go eat at Sexy Fish, and my whole family's like, "Oh, where's I don't want to put him out there, but where's Matt?" And I'm like, "He's not here right now." You know, like I'm kind of like in an awkward position. Like, why are they asking me about him? Like, you know. And yeah, but then once they left, then we started talking more. We got to know each other, and one thing led to another, and here we are.
And like, what month was that of last year?
July.
And then, because now you guys live together, so when did he move in?
very shortly after.
I know he's from Atlanta, so yeah, like pinpoint his timeline. When did he move to Miami?
I think the month before that.
So he got real lucky. He got his dream girl. Like, how many people can say that? I moved to like a new city, and a month later, I got my dream girl / future partner, and / I'm moving into her place. Great, like, yeah, so cute. I really like him and you guys together. I'm super happy for you.
It's one of those things where we both, like, ironically, this is so creepy, but right before we met, we were actually working on ourselves, and we're even looking to be with anyone or talk to anyone or anything like that. We were on a different mindset of like, let me find who I am. Let me, like, what do I need? What am I working on? What I need to do? And just being in more like solitude. And who can say, like, yeah, I just met on the street. Like, it was meant to be. I'm Bosnian, right? So I grew up in a Muslim household, and I was raised a Muslim.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your background? 'Cause I thought you were Serbian.
So,
and I thought that's it.
So I was born in Germany, but both my parents are Bosnian. And then at 18 months old, we came here, and I grew up in Jacksonville. 3 years ago, I moved here, right? So, like, American, but Bosnian. I was just born in Germany, like that type of thing.
Do you have a German passport?
I could have.
Girl, you should.
I could have.
Girl, you're slacking.
Germans are a little strict, though. So I don't think legally I would be able to have dual citizenship with them specifically.
Well, I feel so uncultured for once in my life when you're like, I'm Bosnian, so I grew up Muslim. Is there a lot of Muslim people in Bosnia?
So all of that used to be former Yugoslavia, right? So then there's Bosnian, Serbian, Croatian, right? So they all have their own like dominant religion. Obviously after the war, like that's how it got broken apart. But yeah, Bosnians for the most part are Muslim, right? So that's why I grew up. Even though my mom grew up in Belgrade, it was straight like communism. Right. So moving here, I mean, even here, we honestly growing up, well, back in Jacksonville, I could never say what I was. I couldn't say, hey, I'm Muslim. They honestly just look at you like a terroristic threat at that point. Of course. Right? Okay. Just because uneducated, right? Like very in their own little box. And just because I didn't wear the hijab, how can you be my life? I can be, right? So, and then also like, being here, I started being more comfortable saying like what I am and then the pageant system, and then growing up Muslim, but like I'm resonating with this, like what am I? Like what am I? It broke me to the point where like I genuinely felt lost. It's like what do I believe in? Like I spent so much time and energy and focus in believing in something other than myself that I don't believe in myself anymore. So that took me so much to like, what do I believe in? Like, how do I get myself to believe in me again? So I kind of had to push everything to the side, like not focus on the religion or belief system or anything. It's like, okay, I'm lost now because I put all of my energy and focus into this. I have to build back up who I am, what do I stand for, what do I believe in, and then doing more spiritual reading, but more of like something really controversial of like affirmations and things like that, and the not binary beats, what do they call them? Frequencies. Yeah. Right? So reading a lot about that, and that I am is actually you talking about the God within yourself. There's been that speculation, I guess you could say, that God is in all of us. Like we have a piece of God in all of us, and that's a very different way of viewing things. Not like I'm excluding Western medicine, but I've tried to like and it's helped me a lot. So I'm trying to have people do it that way too, and like it's just not good. It's just very negative. They just don't, and like it's like you said, don't go in it with the right mindset. Like that's it. Yeah. So it's not for everybody. No. Even though it like they should be, because if you just be open minded, I'm like, but no. Yeah. I think that's great. And just like earlier, you're talking to me,
I want you to share that story. You shared about the lady you did your hair with. No, you were doing her hair.
Yes,
that
for me, when you said that to me, I was where you are financially and how you could be spending it a lot more differently, reevaluating where you are, what you're doing, like just really sitting there and determining what's working for you and what isn't. Like if it's not working, reevaluate it, do something different. You don't want to like, it's not working, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway. It's like, that's the worst thing you could do. Right. So that's,
no, I mean, I think I can totally like agree with that. Like with things are happening in my personal life and like finances, obviously are always a big thing.
yeah.
Like, I'm doing like a career change in the sense of like I'm studying to like get better just because like I want to make more money to invest in myself.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I'm working my way towards financial freedom and stuff. And I feel like me meeting you.
Yeah.
Not meeting you, meet like seeing you again after like ages. And like, because I'm interviewing for another podcast, learning a lot. He's great.
Yeah.
And then you walk in. I think it was just like meant to be. And I feel like now we could just help each other in the future, but like in a beneficial way for both of us. Not like we're using each other way.
No.
And like your boyfriend's doing the marketing for that podcast. And obviously, I would love to have that for my podcast in the future.
Yeah.
And now you're just like learning this. And then, like I no longer dance with that company that I used to dance for together. And then the things all those like positive compliments you told me the other day. And like, it's just so different when like people like you, I know how I'm feeling now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like better. And I feel like when people realize that, it just makes you feel better. Because you're like, okay, because sometimes you don't know how people view you or like how people can like see what's going on. So I just super appreciated it. You know what I mean? And I've always really liked you, like, honestly. Like, I wouldn't ask you to be here, like, not. Like, I always said how much I liked you. And I think it's just great. And, like, I love seeing, like, the journey you're on. And, like, that we actually have even more similarities than I thought. Like, I feel like I've learned so much about you. Like, learned so much about how you become the woman you are.
Yeah.
And how I want to just, like, keep learning from you. Like, I'm super into the spiritual stuff. So, like, I would love for, like, to, like, talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, that could just be its own episode on itself.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know you were super into it that much either. Like, I had no idea. Like, literally, guys, I'm like, Sabina 2.0 right now. Like, and it's great. And I'm just, like, super proud of you.
Thank
you know what I mean? Like, I know, like, you were having kind of a hard time when we first met, who you were living with or whatever. And then you were like, okay, got my independence. I moved out. So I was like, okay, yay, step one. And then now you have like this boyfriend that's he's so nice. Like, and then, like now you have your own your own company. Yeah. So like, I feel like these big steps. You've been here 3 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. It's like killer. And then now you're doing this whole spiritual journey, which like, I'm super excited to hear more about. Like, I think that honestly, it's great. I'm like, like I said, I'm super open-minded. I love learning about like now things just make sense. And I know a lot of people don't agree with things like that, but like, I always like to keep an open mind. The things you told me, I was like, that's cool. Like I can see that. I'm just super like grateful you came on.
No, what I want to share though is she doesn't want to go too much about herself over here, but I was obviously social media, right? So we're all really busy, but I saw like a video of her dancing, right? And I sat there and I watched it, and I have to say, like, even though we lost touch, and this is before we met, like at another podcast, right, and reconnected, I saw her dancing, and just like it just felt different. It looked different. Like it seemed like she was finally free in a sense. And then when I saw her, I was like, this is very weird that I saw this and now I'm seeing you in person. Like I have to say something, right? So I told her, I was like, I want to say, even if you might not see it, like, I'm really proud of you and like how far you've come. Obviously, like I never reached like pro dancer level, right? So, but I can see the way that you move and like the way that you're more in touch with yourself now. And your movements are a lot more like even more fluid, right? I don't know. You're somehow setting yourself free and doing your own thing and being true to now who you are and doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, right? And it's translating into your dancing. Like, you were good, but now you're like even better, right? And just me seeing that on the side, just I was so happy, and I was so happy for you, and I'm still happy for you, right? And like seeing how far you've come too, right? Even if we haven't talked in just I don't know. I believe that the way that a person dances a reflection of like how in tune they are with themselves too, to a certain extent. Like the movements and how not choppy they are, how they're like more fluid, all that, right? But just it was great. Like I'm
No,
so proud of you.
I like super appreciate that because like I'm super hard on myself, and there's so many times I've like thought of just like quitting dance because I'm like, maybe I'm too old, or I started too late, or like I don't know, is it like worth it? What am I doing wrong? Like, am I doing? I'm just like a very overthinker, and that's true. Like someone told me that like if you start something and you're not mentally there, you're just gonna suck.
Yeah.
That's why I really try really hard to like set things aside, even if I go to a dance class or a training. Like I try to be as mentally like to remove all the negative stuff just to like be there,
Yeah.
and it makes a huge difference. And like I really appreciate you saying that to me because like I mean I'm a very big of words of affirmation person, so I really do value that, and I really value when people like compliment me on like my character or my growth. And you did that on both ends, and I was just like super shocked. And like I feel like it's just like a compliment that I really needed in a time when like I'm making a change. And I feel like, and like it's like dance, he was like, like you need to make sure it's something you 100% want, because it's not something you just do. It's like you will do it because you really want it and you work hard. And I've been working super hard, like putting the hours in, like, I've been putting the work in. This weekend, it's like a big weekend, but I've like decided just to have this amazing dance workshop. Like, we're going super hard with all these amazing choreographers. Like, I'm working so hard. So then he's like, oh, it all looks positive. You just have to make sure you want it.
Yeah.
You're willing to work hard. So like, I truly appreciate that. You saw me like towards the more beginning of my dance career. Like it was pretty much like 6 months in, so like I truly appreciate you saying that. And like even though you're not pro dancer, like you're a dancer, and people you know what, you're creative, what good content is and what isn't. And like for me to post, like I even said in that post, I was like, I'm super shy about posting my dance videos, but like I really like this one and I enjoyed it. It's not perfect, but like I gotta post it.
Yeah.
And I got a great response to it. And that's true. Like I don't want to be those dancers who never post dance videos. Like, and for us, social media is our resume.
Yeah.
So it's helped me get booked for other stuff, and like I just think it's just, I'm so grateful. And like, I always cheer for people too. Like even you, like I always be like, see your little content creation post, or you're on the runway and I'd be like, oh, that's so great. She's doing that again. Wow, look at her. She looks so much. Or, oh, look at that. Or, oh, she looks great. You know what I mean? And like, now they see you're like a super happy relationship and I'm in a super happy relationship. So I feel like we both just have done a 180. I mean, granted, we're still like, no, we're still on the way up for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's so great. And like, I'm so grateful you came and like shared your story with me. And like, you said it's your first podcast, right? I was like, where I'm just interviewing you.
Just me. I think I did one also a while back ago, but I don't know whatever happened to like the actual audio or anything. So I don't know. It never got released.
Oh no. Well, this is the first official one, guys. And I'm super grateful. And I know we've had technical difficulties and I'm like making sure it's all being saved. So I'm like staring at the computer nonstop to make sure, guys, it's hot. We're in Miami. We did it outside. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. But like it's a beautiful day. I can't complain. And so can you please tell people what socials they can find you on? Like say your hair stuff, your beauty stuff, your whichever, doesn't matter how many.
I have 3 for you.
Perfect.
So my personal one where you can find like model content creation things is Sabina, SABINA .KARAC. And then my hair one is SK Beauty. And the third one is Valorem Talent Scout. So that's where I basically help find girls for the agency and then post gigs and all that fun stuff.
I love it. I love it. And is there any like clothes, anything you like to, actually, I always ask people this, what is in the future for you? I mean, I know you're already killing it, but is there anything like juicy you want to share with us that's happening in the near future, far-ish future?
Honestly, whatever's meant for me will come to me. I'm just kind of in that mindset right now, but what I want everyone to take away from, I guess, today is, and the best advice I could ever give anyone is to be teachable. Don't be like, I'm already doing it this way and it works for me.
Or something, but you always want something better. Yeah.
So what I want everyone to take away from today is just to be teachable, right? So you can learn something new every day and apply it to what you're doing and just grow. Like growth is basically the answer. Like you can get better and better at whatever you do every single day. Don't be closed-minded or arrogant or stubborn and like, I'm already doing it this way. It's just fine. It doesn't need right? So you don't know, like you can learn something from everyone that you're around. Just be more open to listening to understand than listening to respond.
I love that. I think that was like a beautiful way to put it. Like, I honestly, like, I'm just so grateful you're here. We had such a fun topic, topics. Like, I feel like I feel like people learn so much about this. That's why I started this podcast. People leave more cultured than they saw before. Like, when you got here, I was like, wait, you were a beauty pageant. Like, I definitely want to ask about that. You know, like, I learned so much about you, and I just feel like, people lately have been putting people in my life again for the right reasons and taking people out for also right reasons.
That's true.
I think us connecting was just like meant to be again, and like reconnecting.
I agree.
You know, and now that we're both even more in like a niche world together, you know, because you did stop dancing for a bit, you know, to focus on other stuff, and now like, you know, your boyfriend does the podcast stuff. Like you are obviously part of that. Like we're like commercial stuff. You do commercial stuff, so I'm just like excited to like work with you more in the future and just like see you more and stuff, because I'm super big on energies and I feel like I love your energy. After the beginning, I told you, you know, like, and like I told you, like with me, like I like, how do you say, I grow when people's energies and mine align.
Yeah.
If not, I like drown. And with you, I grow. And I just think that's beautiful. And I'm super excited to see what's in the store for your future.
Me too. And yours.
Oh,
and yours.
That's so good. Podcast.
Awesome. This is so good. Okay, now to Hola, mi gente. I really hope you all had a blast listening to this episode. I had so much fun recording it. So please like, share, review this podcast, Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. Share it with your grandma, mom, dad, abuelita, boyfriend, girlfriend, whomever, whatever. And follow me on Instagram at That's So Good Podcast. So with 2 O's. And we'll catch you next week. Ciao for now. Bye. Mwah.